The most theologically dangerous element of Ezekiel's vision is not the creatures or the wheels or the fire. It is the location. The vision happens in Babylon. Not in Jerusalem. Not in the temple. Not in the land of Israel. The God of Israel appears in the territory of Babylon, in the land of the gods who supposedly defeated him. The Kavod followed the exiles. The implications are explosive. Ancient Near Eastern religion operated on a principle: the god belongs to the land. Ashur belongs to Assyria. Marduk belongs to Babylon. The God of Israel belongs to Israel, and specifically to Jerusalem, and to the temple on Mount Zion. When Babylon destroyed the temple, it was not only a military victory. It was a theological statement: your God could not protect his house. And then a priest in a Babylonian work camp sees the chariot. And everything changes. Ezekiel does not only see the chariot arriving in Babylon. He also sees, in chapters 10 and 11, the chariot leaving Jerusalem. The glory of the Lord rises from the cherubim and pauses over the threshold of the temple. Then it rises from the city and stands on the mountain east of it. Slowly. Reluctantly. In stages. As if God is giving the city every possible chance to repent before he withdraws. The departure of the Kavod is the most devastating moment in Ezekiel. Not the siege. Not the fire. The moment the presence leaves. The Kavod pauses at the east gate. The gate that faces the rising sun. And then it moves east, toward Babylon, toward the exiles. Ezekiel, receiving this vision in Babylon, understands: the glory did not die with the temple. The glory relocated. The God of Israel is not a territorial deity. He cannot be defeated by destroying his building. He is already where the people are. The refugees by the canal are not abandoned. They are, if anything, closer to the presence than the people still in Jerusalem who feel safe. The land of Canaan was holy. The land of Babylon was impure, pagan, polluted. The exiles in Babylon felt contaminated by proximity. And yet the chariot appears there. By an irrigation canal. In the middle of a Babylonian agricultural settlement. The divine presence is not contaminated by Babylon. It arrives unbothered. No land is too far. No location is too unclean. The Kavod does not have a map that excludes anywhere. The prophet Ezekiel becomes, in exile, something new, a prophet of portable divine presence. There is no temple. There is no sacrifice. There is no altar. But there is the word. There is the vision. There is the community gathered to hear. Ezekiel 11 verse 16, though I removed them far away among the nations, yet I have been a sanctuary to them in the countries where they have gone. I have been a sanctuary. The God who cannot be contained in a building says, I myself am the sanctuary. The community carries the holy place inside it. The book of Ezekiel does not end with exile. It ends with return. Chapters 40 through 48 describe a vision of a new temple, measured precisely, described in obsessive architectural detail. And in chapter 43, the Kavod returns. The glory of the God of Israel came from the east. Its sound was like the sound of many waters, the same sound from the chariot. And the earth shone with his glory. The same chariot that appeared in Babylon now enters the east gate of the new temple. The presence that left comes back. The exile is not permanent. Neither is the absence. The Apostle John, writing from the island of Patmos, himself in a kind of exile, opens his throne room vision in Revelation 4 with 4 living creatures. A lion. An ox. A human face. A flying eagle. The 4 faces of Ezekiel's cherubim. Around the throne, flashes of lightning and peals of thunder. Before the throne, something like a sea of glass, like crystal, Ezekiel's firmament. The revelation of John is not inventing a new vision. It is standing in Ezekiel's vision and describing what it looks like from inside the New Testament. The vision by the Chebar has never stopped moving. Every generation that has found itself in exile, political, spiritual, cultural, has returned to Ezekiel 1. The medieval Kabbalists built their entire system of the Sphirot in part on the chariot structure. The Hasidic masters taught that the chariot could be internalized, that the soul itself was the vehicle for divine presence. Contemporary seekers read Ezekiel through depth psychology, through consciousness studies, through the language of quantum fields. The wheels keep turning. The eyes on the rims keep watching. Something about the chariot vision refuses to be domesticated. It has survived every attempt to allegorize it away, to rationalize it, to explain it as primitive cosmology. It keeps meaning something. It keeps generating encounter. The rabbis who said it was too dangerous to study publicly, they were right, in the sense that it does not leave you where it finds you. You can read it carefully, analyze it historically, translate it accurately, and still come out the other side having seen something you cannot fully name. That is what it does. That is what it has always done. Ezekiel's chariot is ultimately a theology of exile. It says, "You are not abandoned. The God you thought was confined to a building followed you here. The God you thought was defeated by Babylon is riding above the symbols of Babylon's own power, the lion, the ox, the eagle, the human face, and is using them as a footstool. The empire's symbols have been conscripted into the divine service. The victory of Babylon is the vehicle of the divine glory. The chariot turns the theology of defeat inside out." The book of Ezekiel ends quietly. Not with the siege, not with the fire, not with the explicit return of the kavod, though all of those are in the book. It ends with a name for the city: the Lord is there. YHWH Shammah. Not Jerusalem. Not Zion. Not the city of David. The Lord is there. The entire 48-chapter book, the visions, the laments, the measured architecture of the new temple, arrives at 3 words. Where the Lord is, that is the place. Ezekiel spent the next 20 years speaking to the exile. Delivering the lamentation. Pronouncing judgment and promising restoration. He acted out his prophecies, lying on his side for months, shaving his head, building a model of Jerusalem under siege. He did all of this by the Chebar Canal, in Babylon, in exile. He never went back to Jerusalem. He never saw the temple he described in such precise detail. He carried the vision all the way to the end. Not because he would see the fulfillment. Because he had heard the voice. And the voice said, "Speak. This is the vision of Ezekiel. A priest sitting by a canal in a foreign land. Who looked up and saw wheels and creatures and fire and a throne. Who fell on his face and was raised by a spirit that was not his own. Who ate a scroll of grief and found it sweet. Who carried the word through 20 years of exile without once being told that any of it was working. The chariot appeared to him. The chariot moves. The eyes on the rims of the wheels are still open. The kavod has not left. It relocated. It always does.